It's been fun.
Dolly, first of all, I have to welcome you back to Texas, and in the same breath, I have to say congratulations on your movie debut. Just super.
Well, thank you, and it's good to be back in Texas. In fact, my character in the 9 to 5, I was from Dallas, Texas. Some of the parts they cut out, but I was a rodeo gal from Dallas, Texas, and also in my next film, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, I'm also from Texas, so I'm going to have to become an honorary citizen here, you know.
Listen, Dolly, you are an honorary citizen. You can be the #1 citizen. You can run for anything you want to in Texas and win.
Or run from.
You and Willie Nelson. You and Willie Nelson can rule Texas.
Good. I love Texas. It's like home, so it's great. It fits my character real good.
Now, let's talk about 9 to 5, your first movie. What was it like the first day you went on the set with Jane Fonda?
Well, it's really kind of a hard feeling to describe. I didn't really know what to expect. It was a challenge for me, but it was so foreign to me. I didn't know what to expect. I just knew if I had agreed to do it, that I could do it, or at least do well enough. And
scared?
I don't think I was scared. I think I was horrified. Not really. I don't really know. I think it was. I was just overexcited, or you know, it was just so foreign to me. I didn't know what to expect. It was like just walking into something, just blind. But I felt confident that I could do it. I knew it wouldn't take me but a little bit to get the hang of it. And just because I like people, I relate to people well, and I've done enough television, I knew it wouldn't scare me. But what I found the hardest and most difficult to deal with was all the time that it takes. And the long hours. I mean, I have always been used to doing my work just one thing after another and being energetic and up and working until you get tired and then you lay down and go to sleep and right back at it again. And that's why I like to work. I mean, I love every minute of everything I do. But I'm usually doing something. And boy, I mean, there would be like long hours of just nothing to do. And then doing the same scene over and over, which becomes sort of, you know, boring in a way. Except I love the people. But I started putting my time to use, and I started writing songs and reading a lot, so it worked out okay. I wrote some good songs. I wrote the theme song, by the way, on the set at some of those slack times that I was telling you about.
You know, Willie Nelson said the same thing when he did Honeysuckle Rose. He said that he wrote more songs during that time because he had the time, he had to do something, and that's how he did it. I want to ask you something. In this movie, of course, you play a secretary, a 9 to 5 job, and this guy is telling everybody that you're sleeping with him when you're not, and you know, he's a bummer. Let's face it, he's a real bummer. Have you ever in your life, Dolly, experienced anything because of being blonde and sexy and bosomy and all, where people did look upon you with that image?
Well, either I was fool enough not to recognize it if they did, or I was smart enough not to play along with it, or I didn't get myself in those spots. Like I say, I've been a very lucky person in the fact that I have my music. I didn't have to stay in certain situations, but of course there are people that flirt with you, people that come on to you. Now, it's up to you a lot how you deal with it, and I was always lucky that I had a big mouth and an outgoing personality. I could turn it into a joke if it got to be too uncomfortable, or I could just get out and do something else if I didn't like the way things were feeling. But a lot of times I think people have, not all the time, but sometimes, and with my particular situation, a lot of men have a crude way of trying to pay you a compliment. I mean, they're used to dealing with women that way because they don't know any different. Some men, I mean, because there are some wonderful men, and that's usually the ones that I always took up with. And but the ones that really come on too strong, I would just always make it into a joke and just pass it off. But I know there are some people not lucky enough to get out of a situation that easy, and there's a lot of people that have had a lot harder time than I have. But I've usually asked for the spots I've got myself on, so I have to take, you know, half the blame.
Dolly, I've watched people watching you, and people really do just stare at you. Are you aware that they do that?
Well, I guess I'm not aware of the fact that they stare at me. I'm so used to talking to people, and if I see somebody looking at me, I just automatically realize they're looking at me, and so I just react to them or to speak or whatever. But I don't know. I guess I don't realize, you know, that they're staring.
So
but if they are, I hope
you,
it's a good way.
Doesn't make you uncomfortable then?
No. I just I look at people too. I mean I don't miss nothing going on around me. I know I often catch myself staring at somebody, just curious about them or analyzing or whatever, just watching a person. So I understand that.
Dolly, if you weren't Dolly Parton and you weren't beautiful and blonde and sensual looking and so forth, if you weren't Dolly Parton, who might you like to look like?
Flo? On Alice? Let me see. Well, I don't know. I like being Dolly Parton. I can't relate to wanting to be anybody else. I don't know. That's a good question, though. Well, how would I like to look, you mean?
Well,
if I was somebody besides me?
I think all of us have somebody, and we'd say, gee, you know, I wouldn't mind looking like somebody. People used to say...
I wouldn't mind looking like a lot of people, but I don't think I'd like to look like, you know, I mean, it's... my favorite of all the sex symbols in the world, or the beautiful women, was Sophie Loren. She was always my favorite because I always felt like a warmth from her. And so I guess if I would look like her, is that good?
That's real good.
Okay.
That's real good. One last question, Dolly. If your career were to go along the lines of Marilyn Monroe, and I'm speaking now about your film career, you know, could you handle all that kind of adulation?
Yeah, because I'm a luckier person than Marilyn was, because they say she was a wonderful person but didn't really have anybody to look out for and didn't really know how to look out for herself. Well, I'm lucky because I can look out for myself, and I have a lot of wonderful people that want to take care of me. A good husband, to mention one, and good parents and brothers and sisters. If something started to happen to me, if they saw that I wasn't in control, I have some wonderful friends and family that would just come and just smack me through the face and say, now, hey, girl, you know, wake up. You're not going to let this happen. But I don't think that could happen to me, because I don't. If I got into a position where I wasn't enjoying my life, well, then I would get out of show business. I mean, if show business is not going to be a joy to me, then I know many things that could be a joy. So I don't worry about that stuff. If I'm not happy doing something, I'll quit doing it.
It's like I've said before about Dolly Parton. Not only has she got a pretty head on her shoulders, she's got a sensible head on her shoulders.
Well,
you're going to be okay.
I hope
Dolly,
so.
I love seeing you again.
Well, thank you. It's good to see you. And you too.
First,
Okay.
is this eye fix good right here?
Seems to be
Okay.
approximately the same.
Okay.
Okay, we're live. Go ahead. Let me change. Change the shot. Do some more.
Okay. Let's do questions now. All right.
Am I still not doing that?
Yeah, you don't have to do anything. Okay.
Just like the movies, I've got nothing to
Okay.
do.
Are you you ready?
We are rolling.
Okay. Dolly, here you are making your movie debut, playing opposite Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin. What was it like the first day you went on the set? Scared? All right. In this movie, you are the sex object of the office. This boss of yours gives you a very bad time. Has there ever been a time in your own personal life when you've had any kind of situation like that? Have you ever wished that maybe you weren't so sexy looking? Now, if you didn't look like Dolly Parton, if you weren't Dolly Parton, Is there somebody that you've ever kind of thought, gee, I wouldn't mind looking like... Okay. All right, keep going. Okay.
I'm looking like you, That's what I should have said.
Okay, here we go. Dolly, your career is going so well, and you seem to give... Let me start again. Dolly, I think everybody's predicting a fantastic film career for you. Now, if your career went along the lines of Marilyn Monroe, do you think you could handle that sort of adulation? Okay, keep going. Let's see. Oh, all right, one more. Dolly, I've watched people watching you, and people really stare at you. Does that make you uncomfortable?